Welcome to a new episode of the Opening Bid Unfiltered podcast. I'm Yahoo Finance Executive Editor Brian Sozzi. Like I always say, this is a podcast that will make you a smarter investor, period. And this is going to make you smarter on all things consumer. Joining me now here at the NASDAQ in Times Square, Revlon CEO Michelle Peluso. Michelle, good to meet you finally.
Thank you, Brian. Same.
Revlon, wow. Iconic brand down the cosmetics aisles of many different stores. Tell us about the Revlon of today.
Yeah, well, first of all, and hair, and skincare,
Yes.
and fragrance, right? It's this incredible company. And look, Revlon starts with these amazing brands, and that is really the core of who we have been for over 100 years. Revlon, Elizabeth Arden, incredible skincare, fragrance, and hair brands. And so the most important thing, that we as a leadership team are doing as we think about the Revlon today is how do we sort of meet the moment, modernize these iconic brands to meet future consumers and future demand. The good news is we're making some really good progress. We're seeing some good momentum, but we have a lot of humility about how far we still have to go.
So Revlon, prior to you arriving, went through its troubles, went into bankruptcy, out of bankruptcy, then you came in, and now you're leading the turn of this big ship.
Yeah, well,
how did you, what's your agenda? When you came in that first 6 months, how do you say, I want to just reboot this iconic company? What's the playbook?
Yeah, well, let's start with why I came, right? I mean, first of all, these brands, I was at CBS, and everybody wants Revlon to succeed. Everybody wants a really healthy beauty aisle, and Revlon, whether it's in hair care or skin care, or color cosmetics, is part of that. I remember, as I think pretty much every woman in America remembers, crawling into her mother's makeup case for the first time and seeing those kind of Revlon lipsticks. And so these are brands that have been around and have been so deeply authentic for so long. So when I think about the growth agenda for Revlon, it's really category by category. We compete in 4 main categories. The first one that I'll talk about is hair care. And what's exciting about hair care, and really all the categories, is these are growth markets. Every single category we compete in is growing mid, high single digits. And so beauty is resilient. In hair care, what you're seeing from consumers is the ritualization, the skinification of hair care. Gone are the days when you use one shampoo, one conditioner.
Skinification.
Skinification of hair, right? So now you've got your scalp treatment and your end treatment, your root treatment. And so women and men, we have American Crew as one of our brands, are using more and more routines. So we're taking our portfolio, often from the salon with our Revlon professional portfolio, bringing it to more and more consumers around the world. And it's the perfect time to do it because we have really science-backed innovation. For color cosmetics, this is the aisle we all know and love when we walk into our Walmart and Target and CVS.
I understand I wear TV makeup. I'm not wearing lipstick, but look, I get it.
I thought you looked good.
I appreciate it.
I did. I was like, I've seen your picture, but
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All good. But the same thing is happening in color cosmetics, where it is a fast-trending, fast-paced category, and so our job is stay authentic to the Revlon we know. The Revlon woman is, she's unforgettable. She's seen stealing. She's glamorous. That has always been the identity of Revlon. And the good news is full beat color is coming back. So adding active ingredients, adding color, really helping to transform the Revlon beauty aisle. Almay, another big cosmetics brand we own. What I love about this brand is it's back really on trend. 60 plus years ago, Almay was talking about skin first ingredients, making sure your skin, you had clean ingredients. And so we're bringing that back to the mass aisle in beauty with Almay. Third category is skin. Elizabeth Arden is the hero brand. Miss Elizabeth Arden established the company 115 years ago right here in New York City as an immigrant with nothing in her pocket. And she was always about science, inner wellness, and sort of female empowerment. And when we look at China, one of our most active markets, the Elizabeth Arden brand is doing phenomenally well. Digital first, young, and it's really grounded in great innovation. And so whether it's the capsules that are just playful and joyful, but also protect what's inside. Retinol degrades when it hits air, so it's inside a capsule. It's more potent.
Didn't even know that. I use so many of these products. I have no idea.
I feel like you're going to be a changed man after this segment.
Totally, somewhat on topic. Those capsules, how do you use them? Because I see them online, and I'm like, do you break the capsule open?
It's so easy. You just twist off the top.
Okay.
And what's really nice about the capsule is, as I said before, because retinol and all these things degrade when they hit air, vitamin C as well, sealing them in the capsule means they're potent every single time. And we add great active ingredients like HPR for the next generation of retinol. So it's truly potent, but also easy on your skin.
What happened to the natural look that developed during COVID? Is that just gone away?
The no makeup
No
look.
makeup, no
Exactly.
hair coloring. Suddenly one day you have hair
exactly.
coloring, next day you're gray.
I think we're done with that era. I think I think actually in color cosmetics we're seeing more transformational looks, and full beat color is back. And so, but also I think there's a lot of new trends. Women are starting their skincare routines earlier and earlier. They're more passionate, not just about anti-aging, but longevity. And so we're making sure that even with things like Provage, which is the highest end of Elizabeth Arden, we're bringing in collagen enhancing capabilities so that longevity, healthy skin for a longer period of time is important.
Why China? Why do you think that's so hot?
First of all, we have a wonderful team in China, so I'll start with crediting them. But I think they've done an amazing job keeping the brand fresh and young, and frankly, being far away from New York when all the struggles with Revlon was going on, I think was an asset. They were passionate. They understood that the Chinese market and the Chinese female is the most discerning skincare customer. So they led with the science, they led with the innovation, and they showed up in very, very digitally first ways. And the capsule's fun. You can imagine how you can have fun with that in digital channels. And so they were often the first to think about Tmall, the first to think about some of the digital channels. And so as a result, they've done a great job. They just finished off, our ambassador in China is the extraordinary Jin Zhilei. She just won earlier this month Venice Film Festival Best Actress. And so we're excited to see her continue to be a spokeswoman for Elizabeth Arden.
Is it hard to keep up with some of these trends that are, to me, they're emerging around the clock, especially on TikTok?
Yeah, it is. But here's the thing that I have found over many, many careers, being passionate about the consumer, many years of being passionate in different careers. You have got to be obsessive about what the consumer wants and needs, and you have to marry that with what's authentic to the brand. I think when you get in trouble is when you kind of skew from that. You're thinking about what the consumer needs, but it's not really true to brand. It's not authentic to the consumer, or vice versa. You're staying so true to what you think the brand is, you're forgetting where the consumer's headed. And so the intersection of those places is really, really important for Revlon. The third thing I would say, and I've been passionate about technology my whole life, and thankfully at the forefront of different technology changes over the course of my career, so much more is possible. How we understand what consumers want using AI, using tools from around the world. Gone are the you go to a focus group and eat bad things behind a double glass mirror. So first of all, there's just an incredible influx of ways to better understand what the consumer wants. But there's new ways to design and to innovate. Packaging, materials, ideas, creative, copy, imagery. So I think the other thing for us is to really lean into what technology allows. Safeguarding, of course, the brand, safeguarding how we use data, how we use consumer information. Those are critical pieces, but we're excited about everything that's possible.
Who do you see as your core customer, like age demographic was?
Well, it depends on the brand, of course, but I think for the most part, and what we find from our core consumer, she's less defined by age, she's more defined by kind of attitude and approach. So when we talked about color cosmetics, we talked about glamour, we call it e-glam, but it's that woman, whether she's young, whether she's older, who likes those more transformational looks, who likes to be seen stealing, who likes to walk into a room and be noticed, who may give up on a lot of things, but she's not gonna give up on her lipstick. And so that is really the core of the Revlon brand. Almay is a bit different, right? Almay is that young woman or even middle-aged woman who cares about ingredients, who cares about skin and making sure what she's doing is actually enhancing her skin, right? So we often talk about Almay as being makeup that thinks it's skincare. For Elizabeth Arden, absolutely skintellectual. This is the woman who, she understands the science, she understands the different layers of the skin. She's looking for products that really speak to what she views the science. And so it's so important for us to make sure that we're always thinking about who the consumer is brand by brand.
Have you had to, almost thinking like packaged foods, they've taken ingredients out to make them healthier. How have you done that in the world of cosmetics?
Well, it changes a lot. And also, of course, we're always mindful of kind of regulations as well. So balancing that between, what is effective, what is the science telling us, which, by the way, we're learning all the time. We have a state-of-the-art lab that's just about to open, and we have scientists across all of our different categories that are always thinking about kind of what's on the horizon, what's next. And then doing that in a way that's always mindful of what's the best for women to put on their skin, or fragrance to spray on their wrist, or for men to put in their hair. That's the really important intersection.
What will be in that lab? What do you hope to get out of that?
Well, are you a science geek? I'm a science
geek. I am, far
so
away. I'm totally interested in my skincare products. I love this stuff.
I know, you're going to look 15 years
I
younger.
appreciate that. I love it. That's what I'm going for.
Exactly. So we'll have to bring you over. We'd love that. But what you see when you go through these labs, which is fun, and we're transitioning from a lab right now to this new, even more state-of-the-art. You see category teams, so teams that are oriented by category, because that's really what's important. You see tons of information and research about where consumer trends are heading all around the world. You see chemists and scientists who are sort of working. You see packaging experts and engineers. Commercial leaders are there often, kind of talking about what they want to bring and how. And so what's really, really fun about it is they're deeply embedded in the sort of here and now, but they also have the space and the capability and the tools to think about, what's 3 to 5 years out as well.
How do you create some of this amazing packaging? And it's not, it's what you do, but it's also the industry at large. Every time I walk into a store, these packages just hit me. They're always so eye-grabbing.
It's science.
It is
right?
science.
It is science. It's kind of like that science and art married, and I think we just have a lot of expertise over the years that Revlon's built. The other thing I would say is, but new tools are changing that, like, and making it more interesting. And one of the things I love about applications of AI that are really practical is being able to use AI tools to rapidly iterate on packaging. And obviously really inform the AI, and the AI learns from kind of what's the brand identity, et cetera. But you're able to rapidly iterate, and then maybe pick 5 or 7 concepts that you think are interesting, and then bring those back to the artists and the scientists to really make it right.
For what it's worth, I'm a sucker for the square packaging. It has like a glossy finish on it. Like,
That's you. It just calls to you every time.
It just calls me. I just look. I'm like, I got to spend like, I don't know, half my paycheck on this stuff.
Maybe that's why you were an old retail analyst.
Yes, that's true. That is true. Hang with us, Michelle. We're going to go off for a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Opening Bid Unfiltered, talking all things Revlon with CEO Michelle Peluso. Where's the guys' stuff?
Well, American Crew. American Crew is one of our best.
Is that new? Is that
menswear brand? No, it's actually a phenomenal brand. And American Crew, one of the things I've been thinking a lot about, American Crew was born in the barbershop, and it was born of the idea, of course, that barbers had great recommendations for men's hair styling products, but also that the barbershop was a place where you could have conversations, that it was kind of this safe space for men to have conversations. And isn't that interesting, right now, actually? And so we're doing a lot of work. American Crew's been really growing nicely around the world, and we're doing a lot of work to think about what is that next iteration, of course, a product, but also kind of what does a barbershop conversation need now?
Well, I can tell you, it's, I use like face oils now.
Yeah.
And they're like little drippers. Like, I found like brands on Instagram. I'm just full disclosure. I use this stuff.
American
it works.
Crew has some fabulous
You have that stuff?
shaving oils. Yes.
I mean, how big is that? Is the male opportunity one of the next big categories?
We think so. We think so, and it's really happening in 2 places. So one is men's styling, hair care and styling, and even beyond, like body wash. And you're seeing men taking a much more active role in the products they use, the products they use, the ingredients in those products, et cetera, the brands they really love. And American Crew has always been, a beloved brand for the past few decades. But the second place that's really fascinating is in fragrance. And fragrance has been growing around the world, 8, 9, 10%.
Male fragrance.
Well, fragrance in general.
Fragrance in general.
What is driving a lot of that growth is actually men and young men. And they use fragrance in such a different way, right? They don't have one cologne. They have 15
You should see my
colognes.
bag right now.
Okay, exactly. We're hitting on a nerve here, I can tell.
You are.
But, my teenage son's sort of the same thing. It's like, well, this fragrance on a Monday, and this one on a Tuesday, and this one for my math test, and this one for Friday night when I'm DJing. He's a DJ.
Nice.
And so, it's this, they are bringing such energy into the fragrance category. And so I think when you asked a really important question, which is where do we see growth, and we absolutely believe men's, whether it's fragrance or kind of men's hair care and styling, is a great area of growth for Revlon.
You've had a really tremendous career. You're IBM, you were at CVS, you're on the Nike board right now. How did you know that this was the right opportunity at the right time? I mean, you didn't have to be really doing any of this stuff.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I love these brands, and I have loved these brands my whole life. I mean, I can't do anything unless I have personal passion. I just can't. And so when the call came in, and it was sort of such brands that I loved right here in New York City, and I love how beauty is so fast-paced and changing all the time. I love how technology is reshaping where beauty is headed, and how we better understand what people want. And so, I'm a big New York City person, so you put all those things together, and it was a terrific opportunity.
But essentially, you've also had to, I would imagine, rebuild a team to go forth and execute on this new mission. What is it like rebuilding a team inside of a company when it's over 100 years old in some respects?
Well, I love culture. maybe the thing, and growing up watching my dad with, he was an entrepreneur, kind of watching how carefully he crafted culture has always been deeply, deeply, profoundly sort of impactful to me. And so we have a very simple philosophy from a culture perspective and from a leadership perspective at Revlon, and I call it embrace the and. And what I mean by that is you have to be exceptional at your craft. Whether you're marketing or media or innovation or you're a scientist, like the expectation is that you're exceptional at your craft. That is non-negotiable. And you have to be a great leader of people. You can be expert and curious, right? You can do great with your team and build bridges across other teams. You can know what you're doing and be humble. And so what's so important to me is that the generation of leaders that shape Revlon today for future to come are not only great at what they do, but they're great humans. They're kind. You know, they're great leaders of people. And if that doesn't work for you, Revlon's not the right place. It's all good, you know. And so it's been fun to me how fast the organization has rallied, both in terms of what we're doing and in terms of the cultural playbook.
This is a real, I have to tell you this, a real competitive industry. What does success look like a year from now?
Well, I actually think it goes back to culture for a second, right? Because you're absolutely right, it's a real competitive industry, and the best people can work anywhere. And it is an industry that people adore and love. And so our job is always making sure the best talent comes to Revlon and is able to practice, you know, their sort of professional craft in the best way possible. So that's really important. But a year from now, we need to be growing, we need to be gaining share. You know, it's going to take us time, so it may not be a linear path across every category, but we need to be back to beloved, we need to be growing, we need to be gaining share. And we are crystal clear that is our mission.
What did there's been so much deal activity in this space. It's cooled down in recent years, but then you have ELF paying $1 billion for Hailey Bieber's brand. What do you think about a valuation on a brand like that? Does that make sense to you?
Well, I mean, it's very hard to be inside someone else's head in terms of how they're evaluating something, but I will say, at least for us in Revlon, when we think about M&A and potential M&A opportunities, we're super obsessed with, is this a category we love and we see growth potential? Do we really understand the consumer's needs? Do we feel like we have some expertise, but buying something else is going to accelerate that? That's how we want to think about where we may also do M&A.
So you see yourself doing deals, but I would imagine you have to get the Revlon house in order first before you go out and buy companies, right?
Well, sure, but sometimes buying the right company can help with that former as well. So our board is very supportive if the right opportunities emerge, and our owners are very supportive that we should pursue it.
Next year, 2026, product roadmap. What is your big bet?
Oh, product roadmap. Well, it goes by category, but if I said hair, I would say we're going to be taking a lot of this salon-inspired Revlon professional around the world more holistically. So damage defense, you know, skinification of hair, taking some of these brands, bring them around the world. When I think about color cosmetics, we very much believe the kind of derm-inspired tweakments, full beat color, those are trends that are really on the rise, and we're going to be playing with some big launches and big innovation in that space. Fragrance, we just announced Ice Spice fragrance, Palm Angels fragrance. We have a few more coming, so we're
sounds like that stuff smells good.
Revitalizing, exactly, revitalizing in kind of the brand portfolio. And then skincare, I mean, Elizabeth Arden has a tremendous track record, and especially in stuff that prolongs treatment. So for women who want treatments, a lot of our products actually work so well, have such great actives, have such great science that prolongs treatment. So lots to come.
Towards the end of the podcast, we always love to get hot takes from our guests. I'll try to get two if I can remember them off the top of my head. Nothing planned, I mean, my gibberish. What did you learn from your dad, being that he was an entrepreneur?
Oh, everything. You know, my dad had such a passion for his team and for his clients, and they were always the most important thing. I grew up, when we first were able to get pizza, it was like a big deal and everything. I remember he would handwrite letters to every single person in bonus season, you know, and he would sit at the kitchen table kind of handwriting letters. And so to have a father who had such integrity, was such an innovator, he was an engineer, he had an engineering firm, but he had this incredible passion for people. When he retired, we all were at the dinner table excited for him until 5 minutes later he told us he was starting another company and most of the people were coming with him, right? Yeah. And so he's an incredible role model.
And then you've also had the opportunity to work with another incredible entrepreneur in Phil Knight, who's Nike founder. He's on the board. His son, I believe, is on the board too. What did you learn from him having?
Well, like every day being part of Nike has been, you know, a gift and a huge learning experience for me. And there's so many things. I would just say a couple quickly. One, they have, and it starts with Phil, sort of the mentality of an athlete. You know, you can win the race, but that's yesterday. What are you doing to get better tomorrow? And I know you're pursuing some competitive sports right now, but it's never about yesterday's race. It's always about how do you train, how do you get better, and that has pervaded the whole company. So there's never complacency. As good as they are, and even when they stumble, it's always about how do they get better. Second thing I would say is I think he's always been brilliant about setting the company's mission to actually be, sort of bold and audacious, but to always think about performance and inspiration at the core. He didn't set a mission to be the best sneaker company in the world, right? He set a mission to bring inspiration and performance to every athlete in the world. And of course, if you have a body, you're an athlete. That has given the company tons of permission to reinvent itself as needed time and time again.
And you can use a lot of those learnings at Revlon.
Every day I'm kind of stealing something and thinking about, how does that insiders, that information make us better at Revlon?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing this revival. I'm not going to call it turnaround, revival of this iconic company. Revlon CEO Michelle Peluso, good to see you. Good luck in your travels, and we'll be following you.
Would love that. Thanks, Brad. Wonderful to meet.
Do stick around. Much more ahead on the Opening Bid Unfiltered podcast. Please continue to check it out on all the podcast platforms, YouTube, Yahoo Finance, and maybe 10 other places I'm forgetting. Talk to you soon.